Greetings viewers and welcome back. As promised, I'm going to get started working on my Haruspex / Exocrine, see what we can get out of this, see how quickly we can get it done and get it started painting so I can get moving on to the next model and then probably buy some more stuff and get that done as well. I'm not really sure how you guys like to do this video. I haven't really received any feedback on this kind of thing. Whether you prefer me to actually do it in real time and maybe talk while I'm doing stuff, or just fast forward and just kind of jump to the next section and say, hey, look what I did while you weren't watching, or maybe just put it in fast motion so you guys can see it. So just let me know what you guys want or would prefer, and then maybe when I do the next one for the Harpy or something, I can accommodate that. But probably for the most part, you don't want to see me sit here scraping plastic, I would assume. So I'm just going to go ahead and start snipping out my pieces and following the instruction book here and get to different stages in the progress and just show you how it's going. Standard models, like again, if you've assembled any of these things, you know what the instruction booklet looks like and how it describes everything going together. And then it's just kind of a lot of sitting around waiting for the super glue to dry as quickly as that takes. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to start snipping out the first couple pieces and getting everything prepped and scraped and start gluing everything together. I am going to have to figure out the best way to paint this, whether it's going to be to leave it all in one big piece like I normally do, or there might be some parts that are kind of in the way and make it difficult, so I may want to try something different and maybe do it in separate sections, like some of these middle arm sections here. Maybe start painting it without those on there so I have easier access to get to everything, and then just kind of stick them on afterwards. So I'm going to start getting all the main chunks put together first, and then I'll kind of make that determination and we'll see where I've gotten to. Alright, so I have everything put together in kind of a couple sub-assemblies here to include all the limbs. I have the two rear legs, the two middle legs, and then I've kind of decided that I'm going to use these little crab claw arms that are supposed to go on the Haruspex. I'm just going to put it on there permanently. I originally wanted to magnetize these so that I could put these on there, and then if I use the Exocrine, I could put the little mini scything talons that come with it, but those arms look really wimpy on this big monster. And I don't want to take away from his coolness factor, so I'm just going to give him permanent crab claws, and if somebody that I'm playing against doesn't like that, then I guess that's too bad. So I also have the top Carapace piece, and I haven't put this on yet because I wanted to kind of show you what I've done. Now I have the two head options. Like I mentioned, I wanted to magnetize this thing so that I can either use the Haruspex or the Exocrine and just kind of pop one head on and take the other one off, since everything else on the body is pretty much the same. Again, except for the arms, which I don't really care, and again I'm leaving as the same ones for either mob. So I've got these two sub-assemblies put together, and then as you can see, I've kind of jammed green stuff down into the little head cavities there. They actually weren't that deep, so it didn't take a whole lot in there. What did take quite a bit of green stuff was the inside of the body here. Now this is one of the first things that they tell you to put together, and like I mentioned on the unboxing, this is the little disc piece that all the heads go to. So basically what will happen is you take the body, put the Carapace on top of it, so it should look like that. Oops. So it should look like this, and then you got these two little dimples on here which correspond to the dimples in the neck here, and then again this just pops in there, so then now you have a head with a gun, or that comes off and you have this head option to put on there. The other thing I did with this is, like I said, oops, sorry, I guess you couldn't see that. So then this just pops in there. The other thing that I did, like I said, I didn't like that really long tongue, so I just kind of cut it off and just made it into a little nub. So it shouldn't be too big of a deal and actually make my life easier, because now I'll be able to get in there and paint the inside of the mouth a lot easier than having that big silly looking tongue coming out. I mean, he still looks cool as it is with all these little tentacles and spikes and bits, so shouldn't be a problem. The major issue that I'm having right now is I'm trying to decide the best way to magnetize this. So I've kind of left this off so I can get to it. And the reason I packed all the green stuff in here is because that was such a thin little disc piece of plastic. If I were to drill in to try and put the magnets in there, I'd probably fall inside and be rattling around loose inside the body cavity and have to find a way to break it open to get to them. So I wanted to do this first, so I kind of packed it down in there. It's not completely dry, so this is actually going to take a lot longer to finish this model than I thought. Unfortunately, there's no videos out there of magnetizing this thing because I'm kind of creating it myself. So this is still a little bit squishy, which is good for the head portions, because what I'm thinking that I'm going to do, if you look at this here, there's two different complete ways that these are attached. This top gun kind of runs up into the Carapace piece, and the two little bottom points are about the same area. So probably what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to
have to use my little 1/4-inch magnets on this because unfortunately the 1/2-inch magnets, which I was hoping to use, are just a little bit too big as far as putting them on here, and then also corresponding to this piece here. You're not really able to put them in the same area just because of the way the holes line up on the head. And I think they may have done that on purpose, not sure, but I wouldn't put it past them. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do for this is I'm just going to drill in and put a row of these little magnets. I'm probably only going to need maybe 2 for the Exocrine because the head and the gun are pretty light. This is a little bit heavier with all the bits, and then they're kind of pushed forward, so it would have more of a tendency to fall forward and come off. So probably what I'm going to do before I even prime this thing is I'm just going to put a row of these 1/4-inch magnets, probably at least 3, going from the bottom here and then move them up. And the way that I'm going to center them is I'm just going to drill into the body here so that I can figure out where they're going to go. Once those get in there, I'll put a magnet on top. And the good thing about this green stuff still being a little squishy is what I'll do is I'll have that magnet sticking out where it would be in here, and all I have to do is line this up and push it, and it'll make an indentation in the green stuff where I need to put it, so I can just drop some super glue and then smash it in there and I'll have it magnetized. So then I can use the 1 or 2 on this that it needs, and then I'll just go up one farther on that with a 3rd one. So since this is going to all be painted over, you won't actually see the magnets, especially if the heads are on there. That's not going to make a difference. So I'm not really worried about people seeing them because it's going to be covered up no matter which head's on there. So that's the next step I'm going to take. It's going to be really hard to drill and get all that on camera so you can see it because my hands will be in the way and the drill and everything. So I'll just show you what it looks like once I put the magnets in there. And I want to get started on this before the green stuff gets too dried up on me, so that again I can use the squishiness of it still to help me out. So I'll be back and show you the progress I've made with the magnets. Alright, so I am back and I have successfully been able to magnetize the head options exactly how I said I was going to do it. As you can see, I have a row of 4 magnets inside the neck there. So just to repeat exactly what I did in the event that any of you guys want to try this or do it yourself, I just went ahead and picked a spot where I thought would be inside the margin of the head there where the green stuff was, and all I did was just drilled a hole because I had the green stuff on the back, so I had something to actually go into as some substance rather than the magnet just fall through or have an empty cavern inside the hole. So then once that was in place, I just went ahead and put another magnet on top of it while this green stuff was still kind of pliable and squishy. And then all I did was I just put the head on there and pressed it real good so that it made an indentation in the green stuff. So then all I had to do was just drill in a hole for the magnet, drop it in there, and then I just kind of moved up a little bit, made another hole for the 2nd one. And as you can see, they're not exactly straight, and it doesn't matter because I did it that way. They line up either way, so if it's crooked on this one, it's crooked on the head, and then same thing for the other head. So I glued the Carapace on top of here. I have the whole body section, haven't attached the legs yet because I was just still waiting for all this to dry and set up before the magnet started pulling out and getting glue everywhere. So as you can see, here's the Exocrine head with the gun. Goes on the body. I can shake it a little bit, it doesn't fall off. It should still stay on during play. If it has any issues, I can always add other magnets later and just maybe fill in some green stuff inside there. But for now, this thing's really light and it just stays on there pretty easy. So, and then same thing, I have the Haruspex head here. Again, this one only has 3 magnets. The bottom one on here actually doesn't line up with anything here. It's too low because the way it sits in there. So it just uses the top 3, which again, it doesn't really matter because it covers it up. And once everything's on the table and painted and working, you won't even really notice it anyway. And this head stays on there. So I have successfully completed exactly what I wanted to do with this. And like I said, I was going to magnetize these front arms, which was the reason for putting so much green stuff in here. So again, I had substance to drill into going this way into the body. But I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use these giant crushing claw arms and just put these on here. So pretty much all I have left to do right now is just glue the legs on and get this guy mounted to the base. I've just got to figure out which options I'm going to do or what options I'm going to leave on and off for painting. So I'm pretty sure these back legs are going to get stuck on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and try and get them mounted to the base. I'll probably use these middle legs as well, and I just will paint it not attached to the base so that I can get to the bottom here easily, and I shouldn't have any issues, and then I'll just have to mount them on his base and it'll be all done once it's finished painting. So we'll be back and see some of the progress that I've made from this point. Alright, so assembly is complete, minus attaching him to the base and obviously the magnetized head options. I have a Carnifex and Swarmlord / Hive Tyrant here just for kind of a size comparison.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with the oval bases, but it's always nice to have some kind of scale to reference to it so you can kind of see what it looks like. So it's actually quite a bit bigger, but not as big as a Turvagon, which I had at the bottom of my box, and I didn't really feel like grabbing it just to make a quick video so I can hurry up and get this uploaded before too late tonight. So I left the crab claws on there again, like I said, crushing claws, whatever you want to call them. I didn't attach it to the base yet just because I want to be able to get the other undersides painted more easily. The other thing that'll help me out with that is the fact that the heads come off and these can all be painted separate, so I'll be able to get to everything, all the details moving around. It'll make it a lot easier painting the inside of the mouth, so I can take this off and manipulate it and get behind there and make sure I get all the stuff the right color that I want it to. All those magnets will be covered up by the brown base coat, so that shouldn't be an issue. And I can reach all the undersides, and then all I'll have to do is just kind of pin them to the base a little bit to get them to stick, and he'll be good to go. So next video that I make will be me going ahead and getting this guy painted up. I do have to go into work tomorrow, so I won't be able to get to that until Wednesday, or Tuesday, sorry. And I also should have my codex on Tuesday as well, so we'll go ahead and get in a review of that hopefully and go over some of the stuff, and I'll get a chance to look at it and see what these things are going to actually do once I put them on the table, and then we'll move on to the Harpy/Hivecrone model. So again, thanks you guys for watching. Appreciate all the comments, feedback, likes, subscribers, everything. If there's anything you guys would like to see again, or if you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.